Welcome to the Home Staging Association podcast with Paloma Harrington.
It worked. It worked. That's fantastic.
There at all.
No idea what was that all about. Oh my God, why am I on fire? No, this is fantastic. I'm so glad it's working, and I hope look, I've seen we've got 15 people, so that's roughly what we had over there.
Yeah.
So what was that all about, Kerry? Oh my gosh.
I don't know what happened.
We're here. That's all
Anyway,
that matters.
Yes.
Look, make sure you save this when you end it, okay?
I
Because then we need to share.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. So, Kerry, thank you so much for your patience, and everyone, thank you so much for joining us once again from the other side. What matters is we are here. No matter how we got here, what matters is we are here, and I'm so excited, Kerry. I hadn't realized when we booked this live, when was it? Maybe nearly 2 months ago. We're like, oh, when should we do it? When can we do it? And so we had the 8th March. I didn't even realize, it didn't even click that it was International Women's Day.
Yeah. It's turned
So how
out.
exciting is that? And
Yeah.
I'm glad you're a woman, because if I had booked this with a guy, I would be
Right.
very disappointed. Look, the answer is no. Then this is a topic for a whole different live, okay?
Yeah. That's a different topic.
Oh my goodness. How have you been? All good?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, it's a bit chilly.
Good.
No.
A bit chilly. You're being very modest. A bit chilly. It's sleeping cold and horrible, and making me question my life in the UK. What the hell?
I know. Spring was here at last, and there we go.
Yeah, I know. And just as a funny side story, I was in LA up until Saturday, right? And I was thinking, oh, amazing! I'll finally get away from this horrible weather. I got in LA, and it was like 9-10 degrees, raining. Yeah.
Oh.
And they said it was the coldest and the rainiest it had ever been in over 2 decades.
Wow.
How lucky am I? And then I get here and it starts to snow. So I'm starting to think it's personal. Oh, but on that note, Kerry, let's make a hook right here. I think that's why it's so important for us to be very mindful and very intentional when we are looking for things that will make our home very cozy and comfortable and inspiring, regardless of the weather. So if it's cold outside, we want to make sure that we feel warm and cozy and protected and happy inside. When it's summer, you want to feel free and healthy and vibrant and airy and all of that. And as I was saying, I'm not sure if you picked it up when I was trying to get you onto the live, but we're obviously going to discuss how this reflects onto a staging project. But at the end of the day, we are staging for people that will have that emotional connection, people that will be able to see themselves in that house, because that's how they want to feel. So regardless of staging or no staging, the idea, the core is the same, right? It's creating the perfect space, the perfect setting for people to feel good, right?
Yeah, exactly. And art is definitely something that does that. It has that ability to emotions, and it's not just about what it looks like, it's about what it feels like as well. So that's what I try to get across in my work, definitely.
Yeah. And why do you think it's so important to really create that and use art as a tool, not only also for the sales aspect of it, but what do you think it really makes it click? Where do you think the secret lies?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's because it's a very personal thing, isn't it? Art, really. So you can just sort of develop a connection with it, and there will be certain pieces that just make you feel good when you look at them. And I think it's important because it helps you to slow down, it helps you to just sort of relax and just be more mindful and be more present, really, which, you know, is quite difficult in this day and age with so much social media and scrolling and TV and everything's moving all the time. And I like that art brings you into that stillness and allows you to just sort of be.
Yeah, it really helps you to connect. And this is a kind of an off-topic question, but it just came to my mind now. We see a lot of this mainstream sort of art that we as stagers are very familiar, say disegno and the house outfit and trickle art and so many, like I am pie, yada yada. Some really do have like nice you know, landscape photography and things that can be quite inspiring, but some are just, you know, like brush strokes or ombre or something like that.
I sort of think a bit samey, that type of simple but graphic line.
I wonder what sort of
it
connection.
Does look, but yeah, there's no real. I always think that when you use prints, especially, you don't really get that connection, and it just kind of almost feels like you're using the art as a bit of an afterthought, and you sort of thought, oh, I've got a space on the wall, I need to fill it, so I'll put anything there. And when you sort of really look at original pieces and canvases and actual paintings, it's almost like they're more considered. So you sort of it becomes part of the design and part of the scheme, rather than something that's there purely to fill a space.
And it's interesting because I did a project recently that it was huge and was a completely different sort of thing than simply staging, but the lady had like so many pieces. She was like a collector basically, and she wanted everything to revolve around the art. So I had to get an expert and everything, because I don't know my way around that. So I said, okay, let's get someone to help, because at the end of the day she wanted to know, I want to use this and that piece, and I want the rest of the house to be, you know, furnished and decorated and organized around that. And we usually do it the very other way around, right? We put everything in and go, okay, which painting will go here, right?
No, that's.
So I think it's a different approach, right?
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I do try to encourage, you know, designers and stagers to, you know, to sort of use art as a starting point. Sometimes, really, you can, you know, because then you can pick out the colours, especially if, you know, if an owner has a piece that they already love, or that, you know, you've got a piece in mind that you want to use, and then you can pick out the colours from that artwork and then build the rest of the scheme around it, really.
No, and it really works, and it becomes even more connecting, more engaging. It really is an interesting experience. So if anyone has the time to really do it that way around, I think it's a very rich experience.
I always think it's included from the start. When you're, you know, when you are sort of planning a scheme, you should have some idea of the artwork that you're going to use.
And on that note, how do we know what type of art we choose for that certain property, and how do we know what to avoid? How does that work?
Well, this is just my opinion.
Well,
art, as I said before, art is a very personal choice, and so, you know, obviously when you are staging or designing a property, you kind of have to separate yourself from it a little bit, because obviously your choice might not be somebody else's choice. So I think it's important to keep things quite sort of neutral. Obviously, I mean, most staging schemes tend to be fairly neutral anyway, because you have to appeal to the broadest range of buyers. So the artwork that you choose is going to sort of fit in with that as well. But because you're sort of creating an aspirational feeling, and there's a lifestyle element to it as well, you want something that is quite calming and not too distracting. So I would avoid, you know, anything that's sort of too bold, too divisive, that provokes too much of a reaction. You kind of want it to blend in, but not sort of disappear completely. You've got to find that sort of balance, really, of it, you know, being a focal point to a certain extent, but not be, you know, not overwhelming the space. So landscapes are generally considered to be sort of the most calming subject matter. Obviously, I create abstract landscapes, and you know, abstracts are a great subject as well, because they're not too what's the word? They're not too sort of in your face kind of thing. You can just put them on the wall, and they can just blend in, really. So yeah, I mean, nothing. I would avoid anything that's sort of too graphic, too that has too many heavy strokes or heavy lines, purely because that tends to sort of create. Sorry, I've got a cat running. He's today. I don't know what's got into. Yeah, so anything that's sort of too angular or too heavy tends to sort of make people feel a little bit more sort of anxious, and so try to keep it, you know, as soft as possible, really. That would be my advice. Yeah,
no, you're right, and because you want to make sure that they're feeling their best, right? If there's anything you can do to contribute to that. Sorry?
Don't want anything that's too jarring.
Oh, hell no, it's quite the opposite. Yeah, we want people to feel good, right? Whether it's a potential buyer, whether it's you in your own home, you want to make sure that can you imagine putting like something very like heavy and graphic on your bedroom, and then you're always feeling anxious and heavy whenever you're going to bed? No.
You see that sometimes, and you think, why would you hang that in your bedroom? Because it's not.
Yeah, sometimes people do these design choices to be bold and, you know, and make an impact. But I think that's as far as it goes. You can't really deal with that on a daily basis. It's not very practical, right? Okay, so now to the £1 million question. How do we select the right size? And this is a 2-in-1 question. How to hang it? Because, oh my gosh, in my years with staging and working with so many people in different projects from different walks of life and backgrounds and design backgrounds, everyone says different things about the height that you hang the furniture. So the artwork, according to the furniture that's below it, or if there's nothing. So yeah, how do we choose the right one? And then once we do have the right one, what do we do with it?
Well, again, I say this is kind of just my personal preference, but I've developed this sort of formula.
Oh, it's time for the secret formula. Okay, the formula I was waiting for. Okay.
No, give it away, because then everyone will know. So, yeah, basically, there's one number that you need to keep in mind when you're choosing and hanging artwork, and that magic number, is 57. And that is because when you are choosing the size of art that you want, say you want to hang a piece above a sofa, you would measure the sofa size and not the wall size, because you want it to hang in the center of the sofa. So you would measure the length of the sofa, and then I multiply that by 0.57, and that gives you the sort of maximum width of painting.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I came up with that. I don't know where I got it from. but it does work. So
really, every time.
Every time it sort of, it just makes that, it balances it. It just
I
creates.
love that.
For example, if you have a 2 meter long sofa, times that by 0.57, and that gives you 114 centimeters. So you want your canvas to be no bigger than 114. I mean, most canvases come in, certain sizes. You'd probably want 100 or 100 and because it's usually 100 or 120 the length. 100. Use one piece that's a meter long, or you could do two 50 centimeter pieces. The gap in between, I think 10 centimeters is a good gap.
I love that. That's fantastic. I hope everyone is writing it down. Write it down so you don't forget for the next project. This is great tip.
And so the 57 continues because I like to hang. If you're hanging a piece above a piece of furniture, or say a chest of drawers or a bed or sofa, I always like it to be between 5 and 7 centimeters above the top of the, because then it's not. I see it so often. I see pictures where there's a big wall and then there's a tiny little piece of artwork just sort of in the middle of the wall and it's lost. So I like to bring it and make it so it's almost part of the furniture. So 5 to 7 inches.
Oh yeah, inches. Yeah. Important.
That's 7. So it's centimeters, but then for 5 to 7 inches above the piece of furniture.
That's great.
And if you're hanging it just on a wall by itself and there's nothing in front of it, as perhaps as it would be in a hallway, perhaps, or something like that, I would put the bottom edge, make sure the bottom edge is at least 57 inches from the floor. That gives you, depending on the size of the canvas, if you put the bottom edge 57 inches from the floor, that generally means that the center of the art will be at the average eye level, unless I'm really short.
Unless that could happen.
Who's tall.
If that's the case, you need to create your own formula, right?
Average eye. So you just remember the number 57.
That's great.
And work it all out.
And Kerry, we got carried away with the whole the live thing not working, me having to jump in here and all that. That I wanted to properly introduce you, and I completely forgot. So I think this is a good opportunity, because you're telling us things that are very specific, and that only someone that has had some sort of experience with staging would know about and will know how important they are. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you know all these things?
Yes, well, I have been a stager in the past and an interior stylist as well. So I've done that for about 10 years now. Previous to that, and still ongoing a little bit, I do TV work as well. So that's one thing. The interior styling is another thing. And then obviously the art business is my other job. So I'm quite multi-skilled.
Yes, you are. Well, you're multi-talented. So what can you do?
or bodies, I don't know, one of the two.
Yeah, and then obviously you had your stage and styling career, and whilst doing that, you already had a thing with art. You were painting, and you used to use your own pieces in your project. So how did that kind of unfold into what it is now?
It was kind of the staging and the styling that sort of gave me that light bulb moment, really, where I thought, oh, actually, there might be an opportunity to create original pieces for other stylists and home stagers and interior designers to use in there. So that was kind of the seed that was planted. And 2020, when we went into lockdown, I decided to sort of just focus on that. And so it's kind of grown since then. So
yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 2019 that you met with someone in a stuffy basement cafe, right? That was like, Kerry, you just need to do more art. You need to do this. You have to start doing more art. Yeah, who was that? I still remember that like it was yesterday. And you were like, I don't know, should I? So of course you should. What do you have to lose? You can keep on doing all the other things that you do. And then you brought some of your pieces for the home staging forum that year. There was a really good one. And then everyone was like, oh my God, Kerry is amazing. And everyone saw it. And I think luckily for you, there was a pandemic. So you kind of like, step back and like, okay, let's do this. Because otherwise it would be difficult for you, I think, to really, let's dive in. But you had kind of no choice, right? That was the only thing that was right there for you to really do. So
having that, I mean, the pandemic was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, really, because it did make me do it. And I just thought, right, I'm actually going to do this. And so the forum in 2019 was where I showed a small amount of my work in public for the very first time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. And a small amount and also a small sample. I remember you put together like tiny was your canvases or with your painting as a goodie bag gig. So that was really nice. And then right after the pandemic you kind of took off, right?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say took off exactly, but it's
you're taking off.
Yeah, no, it's definitely growing, which is great. So and I know that it's what I want to do, and it's kind of what I've always wanted. I just needed that push, really. So thank you.
I'm just a vessel. Kerry, so if anyone, have you been working with stagers that ask you for things specifically for certain projects? I know that Verena from Switzerland wants it. So you see, even people from Switzerland, like putting like orders and like commissioning work. Let's put it that way. It's fancier, isn't it? They're commissioning work. Do you have more people that are always, asking for things like that? How does it work?
Yeah, Verena's been amazing. So she's commissioned lots of pieces for me over the years. So
that's amazing.
Very grateful for that. I've done some work for Linda at Styled Spaces.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I don't know if she's watching, but hello if you are. And obviously Zaid at Casso Progretti.
Oh, really? I didn't know. How exciting.
A couple of years ago. So it's just about spreading the word really amongst.
Yeah, because you can really do something that is exactly what they need for that property, for that project, and so if it's something that is, say, specific for a project and there are deadlines around it, how much time in advance would you need to be able to put something together? I know it depends on size and the requirements and all that, but what normally works as a guideline for you? Because I know that would be different than say people that just want to order a few pieces so I have it because I know I'll need it eventually. I know that's different. So how does it work for each case?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously intend to get pieces done as fast as possible because especially if you're doing a show home or something like that, you probably need them quite quickly. But I usually try to allow 10 days, 10 to 14 days, depending whether I can get the canvas size or not. So I try and work quite quickly, and I use acrylic as well, which is great because it dries the speed.
No, I think that's a fairly okay lead time for staging if you think about it, because it's quite quick and you hardly ever stage sooner than like a week before you actually get the quote and all that. So yeah, I think that, well, it has been working, so it definitely does work, right? And
Yeah,
then obviously if people don't have anything that's like specific, like I need this for that project, but if they just want to, stock up, because, art is like, it goes so quickly and you always need to have new ones and different ones. You can even like repeat furniture, but for you to repeat art all the time, it's very difficult depending on the type of projects that you work with. So if people just want to stock up, how can they reach you? How can they put an order in? How does it work?
So I've got my lookbook, which I've sent out to quite a few members already. That's got all the info there. But what I do in that case, which is what Verena has done at MW, she would basically say, I need 5 pieces in these sizes. And when you build a package like that, you can sort of stipulate the colour palette that you want me to use and the size, and by ordering a package, then it obviously brings the price down a lot more. So got them then to keep reusing as much as you want.
That's a really good idea. I think it works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it tends to, if you want to build that sort of inventory of artwork. I mean, she's got different colour schemes that she uses for different show homes. So say you wanted, 5 canvases in a blue colourway, and then you wanted 5 in a sort of green colourway, you can build it up that way.
I like it. So after just having ideas, so what else can we do together? Oh my God. No, I think this is genius, and I think it's very, very helpful as well. And above all, I think it's about supporting small businesses as well, supporting fellow home stagers, fellow interior stylists, because you can obviously order things online and go to the mainstream suppliers, and you get the same thing that everyone else is getting, which works for certain projects, and sometimes we just need that solution. That's fine. We all do it. We're all guilty. I've done it. You probably did it as well, Kerry, at some point. So, but I think it's so more unique and well suited for what we do, which is to inspire people to create that connection. So why not do that by
especially if you're working in sort of more luxury as well, you've got that more sort of aspirational feel, and it does enhance the interior as well. You can tell when someone's just been to Next or somewhere like a canvas print, and they just don't look as good, I'm afraid.
No, they don't. And I think, as I was saying, you can obviously repeat furniture more often than you can repeat art. So even from an investment perspective and storage and transportation, all of that, it makes more sense to invest a little bit more in art than to be, swapping your furniture around all the time as frequently. So you can kind of hold on to your inventory for a little bit longer if you invest in the right art pieces, also accessories as well, because you can transform the whole room by having the right pieces, right?
Yeah, and it just sort of makes each property stand out a little bit, because then they're not just all looking the same, using the same furniture. At least you've got different accessories and different artwork to sort of differentiate.
That's good. Because at the end of the day, obviously, clients will not talk to one another and compare, oh, this is my project, this is your project, they look the same. But for your own portfolio, you don't want things to look the same, right? So and eventually they'll end up coming across one another, the listings and all that. So you want to make sure that they look like you've put thought into. Oh, hello. They always do that, right? Yeah.
Hello.
So sweet. Oh, gotta love little pets. Oh, so is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy. That's Boots.
Oh, what's his name? Oh,
Boots.
So cute. Of course, I had to have a cat named Boots, obviously.
Yeah. Somewhere, my other one's Colin. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. Look, you go and enjoy them then. So just to wrap up then, Kerry, how can people find you if they want to find out more about your work, if they want to put orders through or just follow you for news? How can they do that?
Well, I'm obviously on here as Artful Soul _11, as you. And yeah, my website is kerryhussain.com, and you can download my lookbook if you go to my website and click on the Art for Interiors tab, or just send me an email and we can.
Fantastic. Yeah, and to all HSA members, I will also be sending more information on the lookbook and Kerry and everything via email. So if you can't do that right now, don't sweat it. We've got you covered. We'll get everything on your inbox very easily, very smoothly, so you can just read on and click and do things at your own pace. But Kerry, this has been lovely. We had a bumpy start, but it was good.
Yeah. Now I have to work out how to save it and
okay, yeah, no, as soon as you finish it, there should be like a button coming up and saying save. And if it doesn't, it's okay. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again
another time. Yeah, but hopefully you can, and then let me know, because then we can.
Last one. We'll have to do it again sooner than that.
Yeah. Oh no! The sacrifices we do, right? No, super fun. But look, I'm sure you'll be able to save it. If not, we'll work something out. But everyone, thanks for watching, listening, and Kerry, thanks again. It was a pleasure. It had been such a long time I hadn't seen you, and hopefully we can catch up in person very soon.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your formula, and I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit www.homestaging.org.uk.